This is the African News Update on Top Accolade News. The headlines. Kenya's presidential advisor calls for total ban on motorcycle taxes. Burkina Faso dissolves electoral commission. South Sudan opposition rejects Kiir's peace call. Bank of Ghana holds emergency review. We start with the focus in politics. Kenya's presidential advisor calls for total ban to motorcycle taxes. Kenya's presidential advisor on constitutional affairs, Professor Makau Mutua, has stirred controversy after calling for a total ban on border borders in all major cities and towns, citing a culture of chaos, lawlessness, and visual disorder associated with the sector. In a viral tweet, Mutua argued that the motorbike taxes compromise public order and the dignity of urban spaces. While some supported the idea, a large number of Kenyans pushed back, highlighting the sector's vital role in easing transport challenges and creating employment for millions. Critics called Mutua's stance elitist and urged for regulation, training, and traffic enforcement instead of an outright ban. Still in politics, Burkina Faso dissolves electoral commission. Burkina Faso military-led government has dissolved the country's electoral commission, citing high costs and a need to reduce foreign influence. State broadcaster ROTV reported that the Interior Ministry will now oversee future elections. The decision follows sweeping reforms by the junta, which came to power in the 2022 coup and has since postponed democratic elections until 2029. Transition leader Captain Ibrahim Traore is expected to remain in power and may contest the presidency. Authorities says the commission's $870,000 annual subsidy was unsustainable, with the officials framing the move as a step towards asserting greater national control over the electoral process. Moving on in politics, South Sudan opposition rejects Kiir's peace call. Tensions continue to mount in South Sudan as the main opposition party, SPLMIO, has rejected President Salva Kiir's call for dialogue, citing recent arrests of political and military leaders and ongoing attack on opposition forces. Speaking after Kiir's appeal for unity during a parliamentary address, SPLMIO spokesperson Palme Deng called the president's message insincere unless key figures, including First Vice President Riek Machar, currently under house arrest, are released. Civil society groups warn that the absence of Machar is destabilizing the fragile unity government, while the United Nations says the 2018 peace agreement is dangerously close to collapse amid rising violence and repression. Shifting focus to economy, Bank of Ghana holds emergency review. Ghana's central bank held an emergency meeting on Thursday to assess recent economic data and market condition, but did not deliberate on its key policy rate, according to the governor, Johnson Asaima. The special session, which precedes the official Monetary Policy Committee meeting scheduled in 10 days, was aimed at reviewing market trend and preparing for the upcoming rate decision. The Bank of Ghana previously held its benchmark rate steady at 28.0% in May, as an inflation continued to ease, falling to 13.7% in June. The next official rate announcement is expected the day after the July 28 MPC session, just ahead of the country's mid-year fiscal policy review. You're watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. Still in economy, Zimbabwe pushes industrialization agenda. The Zimbabwean government is calling on Chinese investors to prioritize local mineral beneficiation and manufacturing under the upcoming National Development Strategy 2, warning against the continued export of unprocessed chrome and lithium. At the China-Zimbabwe Business Forum in Harare, the Presidential Affairs Secretary emphasized that exporting raw materials undermines job creation and industrialization, and vowed that companies bypassing value addition would face scrutiny. With the Sunway City Special Economic Zone earmarked for large-scale manufacturing, authorities are urging investors to partner in building industries within Zimbabwe, while also warning against environmental harm and cultural disrespect by some foreign operators. Moving to health, hepatitis cases climb in Somalia. Somalia's Ministry of Health has issued a national alert over a surge in hepatitis infections, urging citizens to get tested and vaccinated, particularly those showing symptoms like fatigue, yellowing of the eyes or skin, or stomach pain. The health minister warned that the outbreak poses a serious threat to Somalia's already fragile health system, especially in remote areas lacking proper care. He called for urgent public awareness with support from civil society and faith leaders, while assuring that the government is working with international partners to strengthen surveillance and deploy mobile units for screening and vaccination across hard-to-reach communities. Turning to entertainment, backlash forces Senegal theatre to reverse ban on wigs. A controversial ban on wigs, hair extension, and skin lightening products at Dakar's Grand Theatre has swiftly reversed just a day after it was announced, following a wave of public backlash across Senegal. Issued by the theatre director and backed by the culture minister, the policy was framed as a push for Pan-African values, but was slammed by civil society groups as sexist and authoritarian. Critics argue it exposed deeper gender inequalities and rising concerns over state control of personal expression, especially under this administration. Though the ban has been lifted, it has reignited debate over identity, freedom, and who defines cultural authenticity in a changing Senegal. Now in sports, World Marathon record holder Ruth Chepngetich suspended for doping violation. Kenyan marathon star Ruth Chepngetich, who shattered the women's world record at the 2024 Chicago Marathon, has been provisionally suspended by the Athletics Integrity Unit after testing positive for the banned diuretic hydrochlorothiazide. The AIU revealed her March 14 sample contained 3,800 nanograms per milliliter of the substance, far exceeding the legal threshold. Initially opting for a voluntary suspension in April, Chepngetich now faces formal charges as investigations continue. The drug, often used to mask performance enhancers, cast doubt on a record-breaking 2 hours 9 minutes 56 seconds time, which had stunned the athletics world just a month ago. That concludes our African news update for today. Stay tuned for more African news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojorumi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.